Wow! What's happening, everybody? Yes, sir. We back. Baby, we back. This is your boy Stanley Doucette. I am the host of Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. We have an incredible, a powerful, amazing, anointed, whatever you want to call it. It's gonna be all that and then some today on our podcast with Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette. I want to get right into it, but y'all know go to all of the social media channels. Go to Facebook, Instagram. What? There's not Twitter no more. There's X. Oh yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what he's doing with that. But anyway, go to X. Might be a point. Go to X. And what else? LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and then of course, y'all go check us out on our YouTube channel. Let's talk with Stanley Doucette. Make sure you put the apostrophe S in there. All right. So let's do that. Let's get it rocking and rolling. Listen, I don't want to hold this gentleman up. We have been planning to do this podcast for a gazillion years. And today our schedules are here. I understand, family. I know. Listen, today is Monday, April the 29th. We about to rock and roll with this thing. Y'all help me bring to the podcast for the first time, but not the last time, my brother. Listen, let me just say a little quick thing about it. He powerful, y'all. He powerful. And on top of that, he is, I would say, younger than most. The mindset that he has is absolutely wonderful. His vision, his viewpoints, his thoughts are not the norm. And I love it. His energy is infectious. So y'all do me a favor and bring to our podcast family none other than Mr. Casey Robbins. Rob, what's up, bro? What's up, Kay?
Man, first I want to say, Miss Stanley, man, thank you for having me on here with you, man. It's such an honor, and I really do appreciate it, man. God bless you for that, man.
Man, Casey, listen. We gonna get into this thing today, man. You know, when our schedules, you running around the country, I'm running around the country, we doing things in the air, we making sure people good. But today we connected. So, well, first of all, how you doing, man? How are you? I'm about to get all into how you doing.
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm blessed, man. I can't complain, man. Life is good, man. Life is beautiful.
Good. How's the family?
The family's great, man. The kids are growing up so fast, man, and they're talking a lot and they're saying some things they shouldn't say. But hey, I'm having to be a dad, and I'm having to do a little discipline. But hey, that's part of it.
That's part of it. That's part of it, man. Shout out to your family and everything. Listen,
Thank you.
let's talk. I don't even want to do an interview. Let's just talk. I'm gonna let the people in on our conversation. So just so they will have a context, just a general context. Who are you? Who is Kason Roberts? Who is that? If you somebody say who is that, tell us who you are, brother.
Mr. Regular Dude, man. Regular dude, man. I mean, just a guy that, is able to overcome ups and downs and not let the past affect his current lifestyle. And I don't live my life in the past, live my life in the present, man. That's just the only thing that separates me from a lot of other people, man, out there.
That's good, man. So what are you doing now, brother? What is it that you are doing and career wise and you speak what is it that you doing so we can kind of bring our family up to speed?
Yes, sir, man. I own a massive construction company here in Texas.
Hold on, pause. Did y'all hear that? Ding ding ding. Ding ding ding. Did y'all He owns a massive construction company in Texas. Biggest state by land by far, and he owns a massive construction company. Ah, and he's young, a little bit younger than I am. Man, that is amazing. So tell us what you're doing with this construction company. I know, but I'm trying to catch them up before we get into the good.
Man, what we're doing, man, we're just providing relief for people in the community after current storm events, acts of God, and just providing needs where people need us at, man. Just serving the community, giving back a lot, and we're taking this thing to the next level, man. We're expanding it. We're planning on being in other states eventually, but right now we're just focused on Texas because there's a lot of need for a lot of construction there for homeowners that's been affected and business owners that's been affected from all these recent storms we've been having. So, man, pretty much just providing need, man, where it's needed.
Powerful, brother. So let's look at this. We black. How is it that you know, got into? I mean, yeah, I understand the military, but how was it that you got into of all things construction, and then in probably one of the most conservative states that's out there? What's up?
My guy's bigger than that.
That's right.
My guy's bigger. I don't let the system control me. I let my God control my life. I don't let
Hmm.
people tell me what I can and can't do. I
That's
go where
right.
God allows me. And it wasn't easy for me. I'm not going to say it's easy because there's not a lot of people like us as black minorities that's in this space. But I saw
Right.
a need for us there. There's people that want to deal with us, but we got to put ourselves out there. It's an old saying in the Bible, faith without works is broken. So I had faith, I put in good works, and I watched things just happen. I had people along the way that told me I couldn't do it, but I believed in myself. I control my
That's right.
mind. I don't let others control my mind for me. Because what God has for me, nobody can take from me.
They cannot take it away. They
Can't take it, man.
absolutely can't take it away. Man, this is a powerful story that you're sharing, from that standpoint. I want to go a little bit back, if you don't mind. Just take a brief
Absolutely do it.
look at the rear view mirror. And because I want to talk to some of our younger African American males out there. Ladies, listen, don't beat me up. I just want to kind of highlight the young men, because I want them to see that there are other more powerful individuals out there in the world than what the news is actually saying about us. So here's a young man that has a massive construction company. It's massive, by the way, in Texas. He has pulled himself up by the bootstraps. Nobody gave him anything, and yet he's the CEO of his own. So, man, let's go back, because a lot of people think because they see us on the podcast and we boys and like, oh, Stanley, that's just your boy. You want to highlight your boy, and think we just grew up with this silver spoon in our mouth and we just kicking it. No,
No, sir.
that's how did it all start? Let's go back from the beginning. Where did you grow up? How did it all happen? And let's start digging into that, because I want them to hear your story.
Yes, sir, man. I grew up with my mom and dad as a kid, man. But when I was 10 years old, me and seven of my siblings got taken away and put into the foster care system. So I spent most of
Oh,
my life, yeah, man, it was rough. I spent most of my life out in the orphanage for over 17 years on the orphanage, man. From ages 11 to ages 18, I stayed there, man. And well, I was 10
mm,
actually, and man, it was tough, man. It was very horrible. It was very corrupt. Matter of fact, I actually went back recently, as you've seen in one of my videos recently. I actually went
yeah,
back to remind myself where I came from and remind myself on why I'm doing what I'm doing. The system is corrupt, and the system I was a part of, man, it was legal sex trafficking in a way, man. They're making millions of dollars off these
wow,
kids, man. And they actually got in a big lawsuit back in 2018. The orphanage grew up at actually got shut down. It's
right,
actually abandoned now. But man, it's just
wow.
came from humble beginnings, man. Nothing was handed
So
to me.
no, I understand that. So let's go back just before we get into that next phase. So we were 10 and we were taken and moved into, I'll just say, the system, right? Because your mind was never in the system, just your physical body. But let's just
Physical
say you
body.
got moved into the system. What were those first few days just trying to figure it out as a 10-year-old? I mean,
Man, I say it was very tough. But, being raised in black homes, we were taught that white people were not good people. I'm just gonna shoot it straight to you.
there you go.
So my first home is a white home, and I'm like, me and my brothers are like, what the heck is this? These people are gonna do this to this, they're gonna do that. They're better than us, da da da
Yes,
da. So I was confused. I was confused. I'm the oldest brother, sibling, so I had to be strong for my brothers. They would never see me
yes,
cry. I would cry at night because I had to be strong for them. They'd say, hey, when are we going home? I say soon. I say soon. I say soon. But I knew in my heart that we are never going to go home. I knew that was a new reality. That
hmm,
was a new norm. But
wow,
I had to be strong for them. My mind was way, way more advanced. You think my mind is advanced now at 29? My mind was really advanced too at ages 10. I knew a lot that a lot of other kids at 10-year-olds did not know. It's because, I guess God was just with me and he was just talking to me along
yes,
the way. I would talk to myself, but I look back and realize I wasn't just talking to myself. I was talking to my spirit, my inner man.
that's
And
right.
that's pretty much what saved me and got me to the point where I'm at now. It's knowing myself.
Man, that's amazing. First of all, at the year 10 years old, a lot of people really don't want to talk about this, but at 10, you actually wind up being a father.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, okay, yeah, you didn't quote unquote birth somebody, but you had to look out for your siblings who were younger than you. So you wind up having to be that father figure to them for a while before they can get to where they needed to go. So first of all, hats off to you. But then now let's just transition, right? So you're going through this system and you start seeing corruption. What was that like? You start like pulling your hair out your head? Because I'm ready to pull mine
Man,
out my head now, and it wasn't even there.
man, I knew I had to be smart. You know, the reason why I
Uh-huh.
knew I had to be smart and just my real mom always told me this as a kid. You know, she was a meth addict, but what she told me and it stuck with me for a long time. She says, you're a very smart boy.
Hmm.
Everything ain't gotta have a reaction to it. So sit back and watch. That's what she said. Sit back and watch and listen and watch people. So I started seeing all this chaos and corruption going on around me, but I wouldn't speak on it because I knew I saw other kids that would
Hmm.
act out. They had them on all this medication. They would act out because the medication wasn't even for them. So it was all a system, it was all a game set up for them to get more money off the kid. So when I saw kids being hauled off to mental homes, I was like, oh, I got to be smart. I'm already a black man and I'm seeing these white kids getting hauled off. What do you think they're going to do to me when they get a hold of me in the mental home? They really going to wire me up with some real drugs. I think I'm on real drugs right now because they're putting me on, but they're going to wire me up with some real stuff that's gonna mess me up bad. So
Right.
I started seeing the different cycles, and I was like, you know what? I got to be smart. I got to just keep my head down. I would tell my little brothers, hey, just keep y'all's head down. We're gonna get through this. We got to be smart. These people ain't for us. They against us already. We're black. You know, they're just waiting us to pop off some, but we're innocent kids,
Right.
man. We're innocent children. They had us convinced that it was all our fault from what we it was never our
Wow.
fault. So they had us believe that in the mind, like
Wow. That in and of itself is amazing. That is a brother. Just if we just pause right there and listen to the wisdom and the things that you have shared from being a father, and I say father loosely, but being a father to your younger brothers and siblings, to being in a position that you have to sit back, watch, pay attention, and look to make sure all is going well. And then to now move into now you're about to graduate. So tell us what's going on now you're about to graduate. Any college aspirations? What was that like?
it was actually a beautiful moment for me because I knew, you know, because I grew up, they called me retarded, dumb, stupid. So when I was getting
Uh-huh.
ready to graduate, I'm like, I'm smiling, I'm happy because I'm like, game on now.
Yeah.
Game's on now, and I'm about to show y'all who Case and Scotty Daniel Roberts really is. I'm about to show you what
Hmm.
he's really built of. Because this whole time he's been planning all this in his mind, manifesting for years, and now that moment is here. It's hard to believe, like, wow, I'm finally out. I'm finally 17 years old. It's finally over with. So
Right.
I had to adjust. I
Right.
had to adjust to that. I had to adjust to that new norm. But played a little football in college, whatever. That didn't really work out. But I remember doing roofing and baling hay in the summertime, so I knew I had that under my belt. So for me, that was a weapon that I could use
Hmm.
because I was familiar with it already. I never wanted to do it. I didn't think, but it's different on the
Yeah.
business side. When you ain't doing the labor and you actually running the company, it's better. So I knew when I graduated, I had a lot. I had a lot that was about to take place. It was a
You know
marathon that
that's
was taking place.
that's interesting because I was going to ask, did you always want to get into construction? You just
Always,
share that with me.
always though. I used to be a kid, man. Um, I remember seeing a lot of people on TV building these big skyscrapers and stuff in New York.
Yeah.
I said I
Yeah.
want to be that guy. Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be that guy. It just looked so cool to me. I had these little blocks I used to play when I used to build them. I remember one time taking my little brother's blocks from him and gluing them together and using his to build a big, skyscraper. He's mad. He's like, Casey took my blocks. And I'm like, hey, man, it's all good.
Right. No, no, I get it, man. So now you graduate 17. Did you go to school? Did you go to somebody's university, college, or you just played football?
Man, I went to Texas Tech for a couple months, man. I went to Texas Tech for a
Okay.
couple months for a little semester. Went to over Kilgore College for a little bit. It didn't really work out for me. And man, the rest is history, man. I just pretty much knew that I had to go to work. I was 20 years old. I was like, it's time to go to work, time to go to
Let me
work.
ask this
I was
question.
actually
You say
19. I was actually 19.
19. You say something that's powerful, right? School was not for you. That was like, no, I'm good on school. But yet you had the mindset of a CEO, right?
Absolutely.
Because he was like, I appreciate school, it's cool, but that's not what I'm looking at. What was that transition, do you believe, from knowing that school is not for me and let me go and run my own company? What was that thought process?
Pretty much taking that energy as an athlete and
Mhm.
rolling it into the business world. It's all the same. So if a lot of these
That's right.
athletes realize that being an athlete, you're already having to prove yourself to everybody, right? You've done it your whole life. So if you take that same energy and roll it into a business, that business is going to
Mhm.
boom because you've been doing it all your whole life. It's just transfer energy. A lot of guys don't understand that. That's why a lot of NFL players become really good, successful business people, like Marshall Falk. It's three of the most massive insurance companies in the world because he understands that he ain't just an athlete. He's a spiritual being that can do anything that he put his mind to. Because guess what? He already done it once before.
That's true. That's true. And I think, you ever thought about speaking to some of the athletes? And here's what I mean by this. So we understand everybody see the people in the professional ranks, whether it's basketball, NBA, MLB, NFL, hockey, golf. Okay, we got that piece. But that's a what, 1% of everybody that's in
Right.
the arena, right? That's cool. But have you thought about speaking to, um, I would say, those high school kids that once that final out, or once that final play, or once the clock run out, how to transfer their thought process into, I have to go to work, excuse me, I got to go to practice every day, to, okay, what do I take these skills that I learned from this discipline and apply it to something that I can be better at in terms of building their own? Have you ever thought about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad you touched on that because that's what I usually look for when I hire people. I look for ex athletes or people that, were really good in sports that didn't get to go to the next level in college or the NFL. The reason why I look for them because they already have that discipline in them and I'm able to train them and implement the business model in the business world into their system, into their environment. So that's who I strive to talk to is kids like that. Yeah. And I would love to start, going to schools. That's actually one of my plans to start going to schools and doing speaking events in schools. I actually got one coming up in Dallas, and like with 900 kids. I want to start speaking to them at an early age is very important because
Hmm.
as they're transitioning to college, or they may not, some of them may not. There's some kids that are really good athletes, and they're only playing because their parents are forcing them to play, but they really don't even like the sport, but they're phenomenal. I like kids like that too because I'm like, hey, I got this business model over here, this construction company. You can come do sales over here and start out making 150 grand a year instead of going to school, getting in debt for 150 grand. Would you rather get in debt for 150 grand? Would you rather get 150 grand in your pocket that you get to keep a year starting out?
See, I think that's important in today's society. Now, this is just my own opinion on this, because education system is not like it was, even 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like you said, people are getting into this massive debt for whatever reason. We don't even know, but they're getting into this massive debt. And what school was it that certified that going to this particular school now is going to be 100,000 a year? I was like, why would I want to go and
Scam.
why would
Scam.
I want to go buy and do that? And then
You
anyway,
know, I, you
so
know when it hit me, and I knew it was a scam, brother. You know when it hit me,
when
I said to myself, you go to the bank to get 100 grand to start a business, they won't give it to you,
that's right.
but they will give you 100 grand in debt of a degree you're never going to use. You're never going to be able to get a job with it. That's all a scam.
But that's, a lot of people, I don't want to say most, but there's a large amount of people that's in a particular industry that is not their quote unquote degree. I mean, I understand there's medical doctors, obviously they were in medical field, dot, 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 or lawyers, I get that, people like that, certain people in those categories. So I get
Understandable.
that. But outside of that,
There ain't nothing there.
it's very, we
You're better off betting on yourself. And what I figured out in these small towns, I was like, why? Like here in Tyler, Texas, it's very segregated. You got the north side, which is all the black people. We got the south side, is all the white people. I'm fortunate enough to really realize, like, I'm not gonna stay on the north side. I'm gonna live nice too. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And what I realized is like a lot of black African Americans are always looking for good jobs, and there's only jobs paying like $12 an hour and all these little. And what I realized, I was like, wow. When I became an entrepreneur, I saw the whole system unfold. I said, What they're doing is they got us working for their multi-million dollar, billion-dollar companies, paying us minimal, like below minimum wage, and they're living in these nice houses. It's the Matrix. So many people ain't catching on to it. It's the Matrix. You got to
Mm-hmm.
go to the big city to get a big job. You're not going to make 100 grand a year. You're not going to make 80. You'd be lucky if you made 30 or 40 grand a year. But that's what they want. That's how they keep you down. And they tell you, oh, you can work here. We're going to give you, this retirement plan. The retirement plan is a scam. The whole setup is a scam. And then when you say, I want a raise, they're going to fire you for asking for a raise because they believe that you should stay down, keep your mouth shut. So that's what I noticed in this small town is like, man, I'm blessed to have my own construction company because
That's right.
I see so many African Americans looking for jobs every day because they're tired of like not making no money. They got all these kids they got to take care of, but the system's set up that way on purpose. It's all a matrix. It's the
Mm-hmm.
system that's set up for us. So you're set up to go to their schools that they own, right? You're only been taught what they want you to know because it's their schools. They're only going to teach you what they want you to know. They're not going to teach you about money. They're not going to teach you about taxes. They're not going to teach you about wealth. They're not going to teach you what debt really is because they want you to stay in that small town to work for their companies while they make millions, while they go on vacations, on their jets, on their yachts. It's all set up
That's right.
by
Mm-hmm.
design.
By design. So let me ask. So now that we're there, right? And now you understand that there's another, I'll just say like a words, another game being played in
Absolutely.
town, right? So
Absolutely.
there's another game being played in town. How now do we take the knowledge that we had? Now, this is not you and I, we've had depths of conversations, but just for our family, how is it now that you take the depths of knowledge that you have and now let's say go to some of these juvenile detention centers or get with some of the probation officers or get with some of the police officers or community resource folks to send and spread your message to empower these young men that they can see that it's a better way than singing, shaking your behind, and dancing and playing a sport.
Man, that's why I'm doing everything that I'm doing, man. Right now I'm in the time of giving back, so I'm making sure I get my message out there because I'm at a level right now where I can afford to put my message out there because everything costs money.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
me going to speaking events, me being, you know, involved on social media, showing my face constantly every day, I ain't going to have to search for them to go speak. They're going to come search for me. And that's what's already starting to happen. It's like a domino effect. Now they're calling me, hey, Kason, are you available on this date? We wanted you to come here. We want you to come there. That's how I'm able to give back now because me putting out positivity into the community, me doing all this work, it ain't just about the construction company, right? It's about what I'm doing
right.
behind the scenes that people don't see, because the reason why I got the construction company is to also give back to the community, but it's also allowing me to have extra money to do donations and to help people out in the community, to go to speaking events, to travel the world and just show people like, look, I'm here on vacation here in Dubai. I'm here in the Cayman Islands. I'm here. It doesn't matter where you come from. You can do the same thing. So it ain't me bragging and showing off. It's me showing you the motivation. Don't be jealous of me. Get with me and find out how I'm doing it to where you can live that life too. Because that's what I want. I want everybody to live a good life, but you got to believe it. You got to believe it for yourself. Seeing is believing, right? So if you see, you believe, you're like, man, this guy came from this crappy background, this horrible situation. It was a class action lawsuit with this whole system. He survived. And now this man is literally flying all over the world on private jets, living his life. Why can't I do that? Well, you can. You got to believe it. You got to believe it here before you can see it here. So it's like a movie. People watch TV, right? People don't realize
Yeah,
when you think of something, it's like watching a movie in your head. If you believe what you're seeing in your head, you can put it on paper and you can make it happen.
that's right. That's right, man. I'm gonna throw all of the cards in the air. Let's do this. Share with let me let you have a couple moments to share with some of the young men some powerful tips, tools, thought processes to help them expand, but not just with the young men now. I'm talking because we talking to
Women
170
too.
plus countries, but I'm talking about the ladies, the men, the mothers, the fathers, all of those individuals that may not have had someone to pour into them. Just share something or some nuggets that they can have to bring that, to that next level.
I would say God is the number one. He's the
Okay.
number one source. You gotta put yourself with him. You got to cry out to him on your knees. You got to talk to him constantly and stay prayed up. You tell the Father what you want. You ask of the Father, hey, if this is what you want for me, allow it to be. You know, if it's not, don't let it be. So for one, you got to have God in your life. For
So
two,
spirituality is number one for you.
spirituality is number one, man. There's no other way around it. No other way around it.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it.
I would say number two would be being around good, positive people, mentors, people that you can reach out to. If you got things going on at home you can't talk about, there's always somebody in the community or always somebody at school you can go to and open up to. That's
Yes.
number two. That's very important. If you're going through some things, hard times at your house, your parents are, doing things they're not supposed to do, open up to somebody out there. Your message is going to get out and you're going to get help. That was my biggest problem. I was afraid. I lived in fear. Don't be like me and live in fear for a long time and not open up what happened to you. That's going to hold you back from getting to where you need to get to. It's going to stop your journey
Right.
because you got all this stuff that's holding you down and you're not talking about it. And eventually it's going to blow up and do something that you may regret because you're hurt.
Yeah. So you're living in trauma. So you don't want people to live in trauma.
Don't live in trauma. Don't live in trauma.
That's
You don't
good.
have to.
That's good. I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Go. I'm sorry. Keep going, brother. I'm just
Number three would be, man, is find out what you want to do at an early age. Find out what you're going to do. Come up with like 3 different things that you want to do. Write them down
mhm,
and figure out which one you really want to do out of those 3. Don't
right.
have 10 different things, Dream big, don't get me wrong, but have 3 main big massive goals that you want to do and decide which one is more realistic, which one can I really make my reality, which one do I see myself doing the rest of my life, and start studying now. You could be 14, 15-year-old, start studying, researching what you want to do
Right.
and make it happen. Make it happen.
Now I
Believe
want
in
to
it and make
ask
it
you
happen.
something. Yeah, I want to ask you something because I know you say God can do all things. So when you're saying that, should they only put down 3, or you're saying focus in on 3 that really your heart is where your heart is? I just want to make sure I'm
Yes,
clear on that.
focus in on 3 where your heart really is, because you don't want to be doing things that you don't like. You got to love what
Yeah.
you're doing, right? Imagine
Right.
something that you're going to love doing, right? Don't make it, I mean, it is about the money at the end of the day. You want to make a good living, but don't make it so much about the money to where you hate what you're doing and it causes you to have a heart attack or something, or stress you out, or make you do some things that that are unethical. So make sure it's what you really want to do the rest of your life.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. You talked about the spirituality, and I heard you kind of drop some, and then you kind of pull back. That spiritual piece for you, is that your backbone? Is that your foundation?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. I try to remember or pray about every deal that I do or anything I'm getting involved with or anybody I'm getting involved with. I ask God, hey, guide me, give me wisdom and knowledge like King Solomon had. I know you're not going to give me
Yes,
exactly what he had. You said you wouldn't, but I'm the kind of guy, I'm the kind of, said God, but excuse me. I'm the kind of man that I'm going to play with God a little bit, not in a bad way, but in a good way. I'm gonna get on right on the borderline of King Solomon. Give me the edge of it. Don't give me all of it. Give me the edge of the wisdom
right.
he had. That's what I ask God. Give me the wisdom and knowledge that he had. And that's my backbone, man. Without God, nothing's possible. Every
That's
breath
right.
that we breathe is because of God. And what people got to realize is this bodies ain't who we are. We are spiritual beings. It's a spirit walking around controlling this body. We can move our hands, we can blink our eyes, we can smell, we can touch, we can communicate. That's all
Hmm.
from our spirit, our inner man, right? And that's what God wants us to understand. That's who we are. So we take our spirit to the Father. The Father can do so much more for us because
Yes,
this body's temporarily. It ain't here forever. The
that's
spirit's
right.
being who's who we really are.
That's right. I know now that, a lot of people look at us and say, oh, because you're young, oh, and try to supersede you, but then your wisdom speak for you in those rooms. And again, this is all talking to those young men and those young ladies in those rooms. How do you maneuver without being rude or sniping and all of those things? How do you maneuver those people from having a certain thought process, moving them into your side and saying, oh man, it went from just this kid called Kason to now, oh, Mr. Roberts. How are you doing that?
What do you mean? Like, do you mean in general, like of like staying away from people that ain't good for me, or do you mean like coming
Mhm.
from where I come from and stepping into that CEO mindset? That's basically what you mean,
No,
right?
yeah, but when I say, let's say, so we go to these different meetings. You know, these meetings, these so-called important people when we in the
Yeah, yeah,
room.
yeah.
So initially it's like, oh, that's Case and oh, that's Stanley. And then all of a sudden they ask a question and the wisdom of God comes out of us. Then it goes from Case into, oh, Mr. Roberts. How are you actually moving those things forward every day that you're in those meetings? What are you doing special about that?
Man's asking again, asking for guidance from God, man. So I carry everything out the right way, you know, because a lot of times when we got a networking events with people, or in meetings, you know, they may say some things that may not even come out right. So you got to think about what they're saying first before you react on it,
Mhm, mhm.
because they could be saying something that sounds very pleasant, very good, but it could actually be something that can actually endanger you, or endanger your company, and cause you to hurt yourself, or taking on a job that's too big that you don't have the capacity to, can literally, put you in bankruptcy.
Yeah, the reason I was asking that question in that way, because a lot of times people go with lack of confidence because they're going to the quote unquote the big meeting, right?
Right, right, right,
Oh, I'm
right.
walking in with this the big meeting, the big CEOs, the big COOs, the big presidents, the big owners, the big financial people, the big billionaires, all of those big things, and they psych themselves out. And I think the wisdom that you shared was number one, you know,
Act like you
converse
belong
with
there. Act like you
that
belong there,
part.
because you do belong there. So I'm glad you touched on that, because at first, when I first started going to networking events, when I started my company a couple years back, man, I was like, oh man, this guy's a billionaire, da 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 da. And I'm like, I would act funny. And I'm like, now I'm like, those people put on their pants like me in the morning. They eat their food just like me. They're no better than me. And if anything, I belong here too. I may not have the money that they have, which I do in reality. I just ain't cashed the check yet,
That's
I
right.
just ain't got
That's
my
right.
check yet. That's how I see it. So I don't allow those people to make me feel, insecure, or that they're better than me, because we're all created in the image of Christ. So
But now,
how can they be better
boy,
than me?
Kason, now speak to that young man and that young lady, or that old man and that old lady going to their first quote unquote big meeting, big board meeting. Tell them, speak to them, empower them as they're going into their meeting this week or next week.
Let them know that they're powerful. They're powerful because they got God on their side, right? So they should go to that meeting fasted and prayed up and confident, and knowing that God has the best thing for them, and that everything's gonna go good. Don't overthink it too much. Don't overthink it too much. Too much. There's no reason to. Just go with the flow. Because God's
That's
going to
right.
flow you the power that you need if you believe in Him. He's going to flow you the energy you need. People are going to be like a magnet. You pray, you fast, people are going to be magnetized to you. They're going to be billionaires and millionaires. They got more money than you, and they're going to be way more attracted to you than other people in the room, because who you are, because they understand that you're walking in the spirit and not the flesh. There's a difference.
Say it again. There's a difference.
The difference.
There's a difference. See, the reason I wanted you to pick up on that is because what I've noticed when certain people walk in the room, people get intimidated, like, oh, but when you have a real conversation, you're like, hold on, wait a minute. You can't be worth all of this money. And you just said, what?
Hello.
Okay, wait,
Hello.
hold on,
Say it
wait a
again.
second.
Say it
You know what
again.
I mean? It's like, hold on a second. Did you just say this? Did you just literally out of your mouth say one plus one is three? Yeah, it is. Oh, okay. And then when you politely have that conversation with him, y'all conversing, that's where I think the attraction comes because now they feel like, oh, wait, I can't just say I got money, not with this one, because now it's like, oh, wait, yeah, let's talk. I need to hear more about your ideas. It's like,
Yep.
because now it's like, I have the monies, I don't have the idea. So how can we partner?
A lot of them just got an inheritance. They're just trust fund babies. A lot of them. And a lot of them you smarter than when you realize that. They ain't smarter than you, a lot smarter than them. They just got lucky and got money because their mom and dad left them a inheritance, or they took over their dad's company, or they got lucky because they kissed butt at a company, at a corporate company, and got moved up. A lot of them don't even know a lot about the business that they're in. What I realize, they don't know. They're just getting a check every week, and there's people under them that's actually making them look good, while they're the ones going to the bank cashing the big check.
That's right. I agree. So, family, this is what we want you guys to get out of this. It's something very, very simple, but yet very powerful. Don't allow someone else that you think or put in your mind that they're so big and so important and so smart that you can't converse with them and match wits and intelligence and intellect. You may not have their bank account, but you have the wisdom, the power, and the spirituality, as Kason just said, that you can sit down with anybody. Have that confidence, family. Have that confidence when you're going into those meetings that you become the magnet. You become the attraction that everybody's walking to, and not the repellent that everybody's running away from. It's a difference.
The difference, man.
It's a difference, brother. Listen, I know we can go on all day. I know we can do our thing all day. But I wanted to say thank you so much for dropping those nuggets and that wisdom with for the kids, right? For those individuals that really needed something to take a look at things, because at the end of the day, you all you have. But when you walk in
Amen.
there, like you said, with that power, that spirit, that energy, and become the attraction, man, there's a lot of things that's going to open up for you. And oh, let me just say this one: stop doubting yourself. Just please stop doubting yourself, family. Let's go ahead on and make this thing happen in a big way. So, Casey, listen, before I close out, you got to give me a shout out, right? Let me tell you how we're gonna do this so you can have some fun. I know you're in the military. I know you military. You on time. You on point. You're gonna make sure those when you do about face, you're gonna make sure it's sharp. You're gonna be
Oh
on
yeah.
top of it. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
you go. Your salute is
I ain't
off
never
the
been in
chain.
the military, but I'm on military time, man. I operate like a military drill sergeant, man. That's how you got to be in this business world.
That's right. That's right. You're gonna put that big military hat. Wait, no drill sergeant hat on. Like about. So wait. Shout out to all of our military family that's out there. Everybody that served. Thank you guys for your service. We really truly appreciate you. So all jokes aside, you got to shout me out now. So at the beginning, you heard me shout out New Orleans, right? my my birthplace. You heard me shout out New
Yeah,
Orleans.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
do it. I'm gonna do it. So you gotta shout me out. You ready, brother?
I'm ready.
All right, you gonna come behind me. You ready?
Ready.
Wow.
Shout out to Mr. Stan, man. I really do appreciate you, man. God bless you.
Man, no, that's not it. No,
How do you want me to do it?
you gotta shout it out. Follow what I just did. Everybody gonna be laughing at us in the car.
So do the same thing. You just say, wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool,
you
cool,
ready?
cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Shout out to Mr. Stanley out of New Orleans. I love New Orleans, man.
Brother. So listen, this is not our last time. So we got so many things that we're gonna do. Um, I'm gonna call somebody that I think may be able to receive something from your message. Um, and what they're doing. So I want to call somebody and see if there's something that they may be able to do with your message and be able to help some additional individuals. So some young men, some young women that they can see you don't have to go get a 10-year degree to be successful. So I want to do that, and we're gonna make some things happen. All right.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Man, I appreciate it. Family, go to all of our social media pages: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, X, and of course, go check us out on our YouTube channel. We are all there. We are there. We're ready to make it happen. We're ready to make it do what it do. So, Kason, is there a way that anybody can get in touch with you that if who wants you to come speak, converse, or whatever? What's that
Absolutely.
information?
You can reach out to my Facebook at Kason Roberts, my Instagram at Kason Roberts. Yeah, I'm on TikTok too. All Kason Roberts. You should have no
All
problem
Kason
following me.
Rob. There you go. All
Absolutely.
Case and Robs. Y'all shout him out. If y'all wanted him to come speak, let him come speak to the kids, the family members, whoever it may be, so we can continue to empower our younger audience. All right. So, family, I love you guys. I will see you guys next week on Let's Talk with Stanley Doucette.